It's winter, but we're out cruising anyway. Last week we did a beach fire, and then we sailed north to the city of Landskrona. Our water tank was now empty, and the water on the dock was shut off because of the cold temperatures. But if we moved the boat, we could connect the hose to a water tap inside the marina facilities. We just filled up the water tanks from the neighboring boat here. So now we have a half tank, which is quite a lot, it's 500 liters. And now Johan just got to the grocery store to get some last groceries that we forgot to buy yesterday. And then we're heading to the island of Ven. But before we head out to sea, we will go a little bit further inland here to another marina where we can get some diesel.
So I just got the last stuff from the store. So now it's time for the bridge again.
Uppförsbacke. Extra svårt.
Going out of the bridge is the same procedure as going in. Open the box, press the code, and then the button saying open, and close the box. When the green light is flashing, we go through, and then close the bridge on the other side. If you don't close it, it will stay open. It was easier this time around.
Definitely.
Less wind.
Less wind and a bit higher water.
Bit high water, and we had the wind in front of us instead of behind. During the 70s and the 80s, this shipyard used to have 3,000 workers. Nowadays, there are around 200 workers, and they do mostly maintenance. The Gotland ferry is here on service. Gotland is Sweden's biggest island that we visited last summer. Uh-oh, that didn't sound like it should. The bow thruster stopped working.
It's not always possible to have all hands on deck anymore. Vera was tired and didn't want to let go of Mommy, so I docked the boat on my own. When we came in here, I made a little mistake. There's a lot of seagrass here, and unfortunately I ran the bow thruster and it clogged up and stopped. So I really hope it will free itself once we get out and in clear water again. Luckily the bow thruster cleared up once we got out of the seagrass. So we're almost out of the harbor. Vera had to take a nap, so Malin is down below trying to get her to sleep. And then hopefully we can do some sailing. It's not cold today, but it's very humid, raw in the air, so it gets cold. It's not a lot of wind today, but it's enough for sailing and try out everything. I really like the cut we have on our new Genoa. It's a bit higher cut on the foot, easier to see under, and also easier to roll up on the furlegs. A lot of people have been asking us if our new mainsail will be the same size as the old one, and it is. It's exactly the same size as the old one. So there is a roach, and the reason we can have that is because we have the standing battens, the carbon fiber battens up there. So 52 square meters in the main. But the Genoa is a bit smaller. Maybe I said that before, it's 135%, the old one was 150%. And I think this is a better size for us. Because the old one, it was kind of a heavy cloth, and when you had a full sail out in light conditions, it could barely lift its own weight. So I think with this sail, there will be a broader wingspan where we can have the whole sail out, because the cloth is lighter, but still as strong, and the sail is a bit smaller. And then we kept the old staysail because that was in a really good condition, and that's around a 100% fit between the mast and the inner forestay here. So this new sailcloth that we have in our sails are made from Dyneema. It's a very low stretch fiber that you normally have like in halyards and stuff like that, but now we have it in the sails. And the good thing with that is that it's still a woven cloth, so if it's damp or wet and you roll it up, it won't get mold as easily as a laminate sail. And you have very little stretch, but still you have a sail that can take a lot of flutter, a lot of UV light, and a lot of abuse really, compared to a laminate sail. It's more like you have all the properties that you have on a Dacron cloth, but you also have all the benefits of a really low stretch cloth like laminate sail. So for me, I think this is the perfect cruising sails. You have all the benefits of a Dacron sails, but also the performance that you get from, like, say, a laminate sail.
Me and Vera have been down below. It was past her morning nap, so I tried to get her to sleep, but she was struggling a little bit, so we've been eating a little bit of lunch, and now she fell asleep finally. So not much sailing for me today, but it has been comfortable down here and warm.
Another sailboat. Not very common to see this time of the year. And it's a Danish boat, and at the moment we can't visit each other's countries because of the pandemic. But we're free to sail out here on the waters.
Okay, now I tried for the first time. We're sailing on almost what's it called?
Beam reach.
No, a little bit above. We're between beam reach and close hauled. 9 knots of wind, and I took out all the sails. We have full mainsail out now, and I was just pushing the button.
So we try to reef as well?
Yeah. So then I release the outhaul line.
Yeah. Just hold on to it.
Yeah.
You can take off one more if you want it. like that.
Yeah.
And then and then you just release the line at the same rate as the sail goes in. So a bit faster with outhaul. Perfect. Line on
What
the winch
happens if you would drop the outhaul line?
Then the sail will fly out
Yeah.
to the sides. It would be the same as if you would drop the sheet for the
Yeah. But then this line will pull out too.
Yeah.
So
You could put the knot at the end of it.
yeah.
The harbor was almost empty, but there was one other guest boat, and they came to help us with the lines.
You just pay the harbor fee, and they have a winter fee here. It's 200 kroners, so a bit cheaper, but there's no showers and no toilets. So, but there is electricity on the dock, so I can plug in the radiators.
The pier is disgusting. It is full of bird poop. We already got some on deck. I have to try to walk between all the poop, but I think that will be impossible because it's everywhere. We're just heading out now for a little walk before it gets dark. The time really flew by today, went so fast. We got here, it was just before 2 p.m. and now it's, what is it, 3:30 I think? We're the only guest boat here. Our intended spot was closed off. I guess they do some work there. So we're staying almost at the same spot as last spring. We're just a little bit more ahead. It is nice here. It feels a little exotic.
It's better in the summer though.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you can stay at anchor here. It's good anchorage.
Some things in the harbors are better these days. In the summer it's easy and convenient to pay the harbor fee in these machines they have everywhere. The downside is, of course, that in the winter time, back in the days before these machines, it was often free to stay in the marinas or in the harbors in the winter. But nowadays, you just have to pay because there's always a machine that are accepting your payment.
The Swedish winters can be very grey, especially in the south. The gloomy weather and short days can easily make you tired and take a toll on your energy. We try to go for daily walks to get some daylight and fresh air, and also to get more sleep in the night. The next morning we walked up the steep hill from Churchill and then south on the island.
This island used to be the home to the famous astronomer Tycho Brahe. He lived here in the 16th century. He built an observatory here on the island where he lived and worked, and today it's a museum, and there's also a big garden. So that's where we're heading now.
Tycho Brahe was a Danish nobleman, and he was given the power over the island by the Danish king at the time.
So this is where Tycho's castle used to be, Uranienborg. It was named after the goddess of astronomy. And it was completed in 1580. There used to be these gardens surrounding the castle. These are just replicas, but this is how they think that those gardens looked. Back then they were much bigger, and there was also a wall surrounding the whole area. And this is Tycho, gazing at the stars. How the myth says that down here was Tycho's dungeons, or prison dungeon, but they don't really know if that's true. But I guess I have to have a look. Oh, wow. Sure looks like a prison dungeon. Pretty cool. So this is Tycho's observatory, Stjärneborg. This is of course just a replica, but this is the actual spot it used to lie at. And Tycho was one of the first astronomers to build a purpose-built observatory like this. And this was at the time before the lens for the telescope was invented. So all the observations was made with the naked eye, together with some instruments. But it's kind of cool that he could determine all the planetary orbits just with the naked eye, without an actual lens to look through.
Visiting Ven in the winter feels like having the island to yourself. It's so calm and quiet. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy our winter cruising. And if you want to support our production, join our Patreon crew. See ya!